All right. Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Hakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all you walking out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. And it's a couple of brothers from the Great Millstone Houston camp. I'm the brother Korah Abad, and as always, we got the beloved Elder Tazapah as well, and the Wadi Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai for blessing us, with another opportunity. As we always say, for allowing us to come and bring forth this news, man, is this information, and as we say, those who in our circle, we call it prophecy, which Elder Tazapah was kind of speaking on that before we started the lesson, how this guy right here, I think he goes by Professor Jang or Yang, how he was going into end times and not just knowing about geopolitics, but also you gotta know some type of biblical prophecy as well. You see?
Yep.
But that's the point. You got it if you want to speak on it.
No, I just say that right, there's no way to understand what's going on outside of prophecy. Because right, if you look at it from traditional means and traditional warfare, it doesn't make sense. Trump going to war, half cocked, on behalf of another country. First of all, who goes to war on behalf of another country, especially when it's not in your best interest and these people hadn't done anything for us? This war just makes sense scripturally. You have to understand that this is the end of a dynasty, an empire. The kingdom of Edom is coming to an end, and we get to watch it in real time. We get to witness it. All right, we're witnessing the fall of one of the biggest, baddest empires that the Most High been raised up on the face of the earth. I'll bring this out right quick before we kick it off. 1 second, Bob. All right, so this is, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna start here. I'm in Romans chapter 9. I'm gonna start at verse 17. I'm gonna start at 16. So this is Romans chapter 9, verse 16. So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai, that showeth mercy. For the scripture said unto Pharaoh, even for the same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee. Now, at the time of the Pharaoh, when we as a nation, all right, us Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans today, predominantly, when we was in Egyptian captivity, that was the most powerful empire of its time, all right, and probably to that date. And then the Most High used that or rose them up to make a statement, to show the world that he ruled, to show them Daniel 4:17, that it's the Most High that ruleth in the kingdom of men. All right. So back in Romans 9:17, for the scripture said unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. So the Heavenly Father rose these Edomites up, brought them to prominence, all right? So tough that the world looked at this devil in marvel, all right? Only so the Most High could bring him to this point, make him look like a complete idiot, utterly expose him, and then take him down. And let the world know again that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. And he give it to who he want to give it to, and he's about to give it to us. All right? It's going to be a righteous world. All right? Us being the Israelites, the true children of Israel. All right? Let me see. All right, this is verse 18. Therefore hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will harden it. Also, like in whom he will, he harden it. Thou wilt say unto them, thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? Nay, but, O man, who art thou that repliest against Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Had not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? And this is what's coming, into play in the earth. The battle of good versus evil. That vessel of dishonor, all right, is going to be taken down by the vessel of honor. And when you go back and you read the 13th verse, and this is quoting, well, Paul was quoting Malachi 1:4. But Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. So those are the two vessels. Esau is the vessel of dishonor. You can look at how he's conducting his warfare.
Yep.
It's one thing to employ guerrilla tactics, but these people, they lie, cheat, backstab, and do everything underhanded. That's what a dishonorable person would do. All right. And we, Jacob, the sons of Israel, we are the vessels of honor. All right. Now this is verse 22. What if Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. All right, and that's Esau, the sons of perdition, sons of destruction. And that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which is us, the children of Israel, which he had afore prepared unto glory. All right. This is why we crop. And why we excited, all right? Because Lord willing, we be the ones prepared unto glory, but we will not receive that glory until this empire falls, or in the midst of it falling. All right. And this is what we are. We're in the midst of this falling. All right. And we can see a brother just bust out with spiritual power at any time, because it's just that volatile right now. We don't know what's going to happen from day to day. You see? But go ahead, Doc. You good.
Now I was reading this article, man. It's got me going back to this game card.
Oh, the Illuminati game?
Yeah. All right, but yeah, what happened to it? Which one charismatic leader?
You find it?
Yep, I think let's see. Yep. All right, cool. Yeah, so what happened to it? And two, Shalom to all Akim, Akwath that's tuning in. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah Barakatham. Y'all brothers come with them precepts. Baba Kasha. But yeah, what happened to it? So the title of this one is, the other times I popped it off, but it says Thursday Live, the beast shall hate the whore, and the petrodollar to the MOTB system. You see, and that's the way things going, man. And as he said, the Lord raised Pharaoh up, ancient Pharaoh, to the heights him in Egypt was, all the way all for the purpose of bringing them down to let his name be known. Well, now you got the so-called white
the
man,
world
the
done forgot.
Edomite. Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah, and hey, like Yahweh Shai said, then you can hear me.
Now, yeah, you was gone for a minute, but you
Okay.
good.
Now you said the world forgot about the Lord, huh?
Yeah, they forgot.
Yep, and that's why Yahweh Shai said, I believe it's in John 12. If a brother want to snag it, Baba Kashab, but I believe it's in John 12. But Yahweh Shai said, Father, glorify thy name. Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai said that, and it says it was a voice from heaven saying, I have already glorified it, and I'm gonna glorify it again. Right? Guess what? We in that
Oh yeah,
again.
yep. Con.
We in that again. Yeah, the Lord glorified it back then when he let the world know who he is. And that again, we live in that again because he raised a so-called white man up. And you know how great this judgment and all the things you about to see, how great it's got to be. Like you said, all the times apart from what the Lord did in Egypt, there was 10 plagues to the chariot, to the water, the sea splitting. People forgot about all that. From here on out, after the Lord bring this instruction, people go remember this forever. So what gotta happen if he did that back then like that and people forgot, what he gotta do now, him and Yahweh Shai, now for people to not ever forget this ever again? That's the times we live in it. And he set the so-called white man up for that very purpose. So he can be used to show the world the true power of the Lord and put things in order, man. Because as we about to go into, Lord willing, it do be edifying, but through the spirit that at the end of the white man's world, everything is a circus right now. Everything is in chaos. He's spiraling. He rushing. Revelation 12. That's the house scripture. Revelation 12 and 12. He losing his mind. We see him actively losing their mind, rushing themselves into their destruction. Man, you was about to say something, Elder Tazapah?
No, I was just laughing. Yeah. No, you good. Go ahead.
Con. So we can go ahead and play this video. Kim Iverson, she posted this.
I got some of what you just said though.
Oh, you got
My
it.
bad. Right quick. All right, this is Isaiah chapter 47, verse 12. Matter of fact, verse 10. Yeah. This is Isaiah 47 and 10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. And this is the sentiment of America, which comes from who? Esau, Edom. All right. And this whole world is under the influence of who? Esau, Edom, the Edomite. All right. And this is why, this is why the world is like it is. It's like Apostle Tahar said in his video, if you small hats y'all the true Jews, why y'all not enforcing the Sabbath? These people got influence, and yet the world is evil, right? Because they are the ones pursuing the Job 9 and 24, whose hands the earth was given over to. They are the wicked.
That's right.
While we live in an evil and this is a wicked world. All right. It says, thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it had perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand now with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. All right. Then it goes on, verse 13. I read it. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. All right. So Esau don't have an answer. And you know, speaking here in America, Trump and his cabinet, they was going in, they thought they had it.
Mm-hmm.
They thought Iran was going to bow, is what they thought, or that they could make Iran bow. And Iran stood up, and that's let the weak say, I am strong. And now, just like that, they're in a quagmire. And so the scripture saying, no, use your witchcraft. Just call your monthly prognosticators and your stargazers and all that. And let them see if they can help you with Iran. But go ahead, brother. That was it.
Yeah, he ain't got it. You know,
No,
like
he don't
like,
have it at all. And they had, well, you got the video on it. Yeah.
They hit
Some
Qatar.
people thinking he might be losing it. And then, I mean, he's in his 80s or close to his 80s. Yeah, that's too much strain. Even on a young man, that's a strain. You know, it's hey, I don't know. I don't know the state of his mental health, but that's too much responsibility at that age. And then trying to go to war. Maybe at peacetime he could do it, but right now you need somebody in their 50s, maybe 60s, that been, like Apostle Tahar said, that then came up in the ranks of the military. This one right now, you need a wartime commander in chief, not not a real estate investor. So they got a real estate investor as commander in chief, a shady businessman as commander in chief in wartime. And then y'all think y'all gonna win this? Come on, y'all. But go ahead,
That's it. Yeah, come on. But he about to say he was shocked. Well, we didn't know Iran was coming like that. You know, they shocked us.
Right.
You know,
Not
what you
counting the
mean?
cost at all.
That's it. You got it. You
But
got
go ahead, brother. No, you got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, he a fool.
Saudi Arabia, UAE.
Let me play it back. It's a little sharp.
They hit Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait. Nobody expected that. We were shocked. And the other one, you know, they fought back. They could have yielded. But think of it, if we weren't around, they had tremendous power. They had thousands of missiles, most of which we've terminated. They had thousands of drones. They were making drones and missiles all over the place. We've knocked out most of those factories. So they hit.
But you see that? So in the same, Trump been lying for the past week or so, 2 weeks. He lied his whole life, but I'm talking about, yeah.
Yeah, you good. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, you know, but especially with this war with Iran, because he bragging about how they went in, and we'll show some clips. Well, we went and we decimated, we demolished them. But then at the same time, you still talking about you need help. What you need help for if you demolish them? So right here, when he said, because that's him talking and really expressing how he feels, looking at it, they had thousands of drones and they just keep making them, right? That's what all the news outlets and underground media, they send Iran, they making cheap little drones, $20,000, $30,000 made of wood material, some paper-like material, and even Israel and those American interceptors having a hard time with that. They got the cluster bombs, which is start off as one, then it spread into many. So he's saying what was really going on, but in the same breath, he's like, oh shit, but yeah, we destroying them though, y'all. But no,
right.
That's not what's really going on.
Nope.
And like you brought out that Isaiah 47 of the Tazapah, those old tactics of deception and using the media to tell the American people anything, especially like going to the moon. They at that time people believe what they seen and heard on the news, radio stations, or seen on TV. They ain't have really nothing else to go off of. So now you're in the time you have we could watch news from somewhere in China, right? And what they call the Middle East. But we don't just have America Live to lean on. We see what's going on. We see video. Everybody got cameras now. So that's not working no more. He can't just tell the people what he told the people in the past, like the former president. It's over with now. You got it, though. Salaki.
Oh, man. Yeah, you said a lot right there. But you good. Go ahead.
We'll play this quick little opening from Kim Iverson because she go into how Trump losing his mind. He all over the place. And that's Bible prophecy, man.
I think it's starting to look like Donald Trump has completely lost his mind. The things that he has been saying in various different press conferences. I mean, he's always said outrageous things, but now these are crossing into a territory that is not cute or funny. I mean, before he's kind of comical, entertaining to watch, but this is not entertaining when it means the lives of our U.S. military members. He was asked if putting boots on the ground in Iran scares him, that it could be another Vietnam, and he essentially shrugs it off and says, no, I'm not really afraid of anything.
The Iranian regime has told Sky News, if you put boots on the ground in Iran, it will be another Vietnam. Are you afraid of that?
No, I'm really not afraid of anything.
What is
Hey, that's crazy. Even that, because to let Akim Akwath out there know your boy alive. Where he at? He alive. Benjamin Netanyahu alive, right? He alive. I'm gonna play it real quick. But at the end, and this was put out an hour ago. This video, he alive. He even gonna say, "Look, I'm alive, y'all." But in this video, because in this one, Kim Iverson, right? This was put out. Check out how quick he changing his mind. And this is something completely different from changing his mind. He gonna say, we need help from our allies, and they ain't want to help, and he said, we don't need y'all anyway. So this was put out 23 hours ago, and he was saying, we ain't scared to put boots on the ground. It could be another Vietnam. Now today he said, nah, I ain't putting troops nowhere. I ain't doing that. But let's play this real quick because he alive.
First of all, I just want to say I'm alive, and you're all witnesses. And I want to close these opening remarks with one other fake news, and that is that Israel somehow dragged the U.S. into a conflict with Iran.
I'm going to jump to Trump real quick because we'll play this in a few. But look how he changed his mind today and said, nah, I ain't putting no boots on the ground.
Do you intend to lift sanctions on Iranian oil, and do you intend to potentially put U.S. troops or more troops in the region?
No, I'm not putting troops anywhere. If I were, I certainly wouldn't tell you, but I'm not putting troops. And I actually thought the numbers would be worse. I thought.
See? So that was something different from when you said it 2-3 days ago, a day ago. So that's just to show you got somebody. I'm going to read this real quick. This 2 Ezra 9, that was a sign of end time prophecy. You know, leaders being all over the place. This 2 Ezra 9 and in verse 1, and it's in the GNT. It says he answered, and it's the Lord speaking to Ezra, because Ezra pretty much wanted to know the time, like the end was going to be. And the Lord said, look, these are signs I'm going to give of the end. When you see them happening, you know it's the end. 2 Ezra 9 and 1 GNT, it says he answered and said, consider all these things very carefully. When you see that some of the signs I have told you about have appeared, you will know that the time has come when the Most High will bring judgment on the world he has created. This is signs. There will be earthquakes, national rebellions, international intrigues, and here it is, unstable leaders and confused rulers. And when you see these things happening, you will know that they are what the Most High has spoken about since the beginning of creation. And we seeing all these things happening right now. Earthquakes everywhere. They have one, I think, in Louisiana, right? National rebellions, people uprising. You got in Tel Aviv right now. You got uprising over there, rebellion. You got international intrigues. All nations are intrigued with going digital, the digital system, along with unstable leaders and confused rulers. And the Lord said, if you see these things, you know it's the end. Well, that's how we know we're at the end. You know, you got anything else to tell us apart before we play this video?
No, you good. Let's go.
Okay, Conrad, let's get it.
What does he mean by this? He's not afraid of that. Always said outrageous things, but now these are crossing into a territory that is not cute or funny. I mean, before he's kind of comical, entertaining to watch, but this is not entertaining when it means the lives of our U.S. military members. He was asked if putting boots on the ground in Iran scares him, that it could be another Vietnam. And he essentially shrugs it off and says, no, I'm not really afraid of anything.
The Iranian regime has told Sky News, if you put boots on the ground in Iran, it will be another Vietnam. Are you afraid of that?
No, I'm really not afraid of anything.
What does he mean by this? He's not afraid of that or afraid of anything. Every single analysis of this war has shown that if you put boots on the ground in Iran, it will turn into another Vietnam, that they will trap you. You'll essentially be a hostage and you won't be able to get them out. It is a mountainous country. It's a fortress. And yet Trump is saying, nah, let's go ahead and send the troops in and it won't turn into another Vietnam. This is the same president that just recently said, oh, nobody informed him that Iran would actually bomb all of the countries in the Middle East, that they would close the Strait of Hormuz. This is stuff that has been run through over and over and over in war games. And yet Trump is acting like he's never heard these before. And here we are today with the Strait of Hormuz letting out, I think they've let out 90 ships since March 1st, when normally it was 100 ships per day. And now we're seeing skyrocketing rates of gas prices are up 27%. Analysts are saying, we don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know how hard this is going to hit. And yet this guy is saying, no, I'm not afraid. Who is he listening to that is telling him, don't worry about this. It'll be fine. I have one guess. I think he's maybe even listening to Israel. What's interesting is he knows that he might have been actually listening to Israel, but he calls it bombing out of habit, saying, it's the allies is really the reason why we went into this war. Watch this.
We don't need oil. We have all the oil we need for ourselves. It's one of the great assets that we have. We have more than double what anybody else in terms of oil production. We're at more than double any other country. So we don't need it, but we did it. It's almost, you could say we did it out of habit, which is not a good thing to do. But we did it because we have some good allies.
Right, the Habakkuk 2 habit. You just got to go take and kill and go to war.
There we have some great Middle Eastern countries there, Israel there. So we did it for a lot of reasons.
We did it for a lot.
Boom, they did it for a lot of reasons. So mainly they doing this thing, as the prophecy say, is the least of the flock going to draw ultimately America out into war, and they both going to get destroyed, man. But we can play this video right here because now this was put out 3 days ago. Right now, Trump was bragging at first, saying that Iran been literally obliterated, and how numerous countries are on their way to help America. Everybody want to help America. Let's see if that's so.
We get less than 1%. We strongly encourage other nations whose economies depend on the Strait far more than ours. We get less than 1% of our oil from the Strait. And some countries get much more. Japan gets 95%. China gets 90%. Many of the Europeans get quite a bit. South Korea gets 35%. So we want them to come and help us with the Strait. We have it in very good shape. The countries, I said, we've already taken care of Iran, but now because of the fact that literally a single terrorist can put something in the water or shoot something or shoot a missile, a small missile, and it's fairly close range because it is a tight area, and which is one of the reasons they've always used that as a weapon. Iran has always used that as an economic weapon, and it's not going to be able to be used very long. Numerous countries have told me they're on the way. Some are very enthusiastic about it, and some aren't. Some are countries that we've helped for many, many years. We've protected them from horrible outside sources, and they weren't that enthusiastic. And the level of enthusiasm, it matters to me. We have some countries where we have 45,000 soldiers, great soldiers, protecting them from harm's way. And we have done a great job. And when we want to know, do you have any minesweepers?
Now check this out. Now this is from let me see. Just to show you how quick he changed up. At first he was asking for help, talking, soft, but now it changed up. Now he don't need no help.
What progress have you made, Mr. President, in getting America?
But this is part of the prophecy, as it says, the beast shall hate the whore. We are seeing the reasons. That's some reasons, but what's going to be the reason why American allies, the NATO, EU, who eventually turn on America, want to shoot missiles. This is an example. From Trump want to go to war to help out Israel, who really those other countries don't even care for Israel, right? Now, because you want to go to war for Israel, you putting them and their citizens in harm's way, making life hard for them. You see, trying to force them into war. And not just that it's just starting to happen, it's been happening. And people are tired of it now. That all lines up with Bible prophecy. Obadiah 1, Revelation 17. You was about to say something, Tazapah?
No, I didn't say nothing.
Okay, come.
America's allies to assist the U.S. in escorting those oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, we don't need too much help, and we don't need any help, actually. In fact, we just put out a notice. I was watching over the last couple of weeks, and all of our NATO allies were very much in favor of what we did. They thought it was very important. We were just discussing it, actually. Very important that we take out the nuclear threat from Iran, and we've done that very strongly, very powerfully. We've wiped out their Navy, wiped out their military in every aspect. Their Air Force is now decimated. They have no Air Force, no Navy. They have no radar. Their radar is entirely gone. Their anti-aircraft machinery is gone. Everything is gone. Their leaders are gone. I guess one of the top person was, they say, a lot of people say their actual top was killed yesterday, along with somebody else who was responsible for the killing. The man that was responsible for the killing of 32,000 people over the last 2 weeks, he was in charge of the killing of protesters. It's an evil group. I mean, they've killed much more than 32,000 people. And the man who was responsible for that was also killed yesterday. And all of the NATO allies agreed with us. But they don't want to, despite the fact that we help them so much, we have thousands of soldiers in different countries all over the world, and they don't want to help us, which is amazing. I mean, amazing. And I didn't do a full court press because I think if I did, they probably would be. But we don't need help. That war has been long prosecuted, as far as I'm concerned. Almost from day one, we knocked out many of these things. We knocked out the Navy essentially in a couple of days. But I was surprised to see that NATO, while they agreed that it was a very important thing to do, they agree fully. Nobody said, "Oh, you shouldn't do it." They would have had a nuclear weapon within 1 month of when we had the B-2 bombers bomb the nuclear potential. I call it the nuclear dust. So I think NATO's making a very foolish mistake. And I've long said that, I wonder whether or not NATO would ever be there for us. So this was a great test, because we don't need them, but they should have been there.
Now, if you're an ally, imagine first you want to speak on that, Elder Tazapah?
Say it again,
I said first you wanted to speak on that video?
No, I ain't had nothing on it.
Okay, Now think about it, if you're an ally and you hearing that, that they're the cause of all this, and they still saying because of your decision, they don't need you anyway. That's like that David Ruffin spirit. That Trump and that David Ruffin spirit. But and so that's further pushing them away. Imagine when really the economy, get hard for all these allies, and then prices go up, because Europe gonna feel it first before America really feel it like that. It says this from USA Today. This was put out March 17th, 2 days ago. It says President Donald Trump pitched two very different versions of his war of choice in Iran on March 16th. He says Iran is literally obliterated, but also America needs our reluctant allies to help us win their war. Right? He all over the place. It says cognitive dissonance has always been a destabilizing factor in Trump's unhinged rhetoric. And so this was just another Monday at the White House. And this is why one of those Illuminati cards, because it says that Trump, he got two things. He always go two ways. He back and forth.
So it did.
Yep. And we sitting there right now. We obliterate them. They done. We destroyed everything. They leaders, but we need y'all help, y'all. So he always been like that.
And he said he gonna what did he say? It would be his honor to take Cuba and something like that. And he said Cuba is weak right now. So he all over the place. You getting your ass handed to you, in the Middle East, and you talking about taking Cuba.
Yep. There it is right there. He said, it's a quote. It says, Trump says, I can do anything I want. And it says, it's my honor. It says, it's my honor to take Cuba. I'll have the honor of taking Cuba. Yep. But even going back to the Illuminati
video, I don't know, you know, what about, but she had played it.
Yeah, but on his going back to this, we brought this out a few times on a Thursday Live, but that Illuminati card game. Now you had this leader on there who favors Trump a lot. Now at first he came as a charismatic leader. Just to show Trump is put in place to be the one to play both sides of the movie. You know, for lack of better words, to play both sides. For the people, so the people could think, oh, he for us, you know, he against the deep state. Right, you know, his attitude, he ain't got to listen to nobody, and right, he all for us. But at the same time, he really doing the bidding of the elites. So first he go come as a charismatic leader. You see the blonde hair, everybody got their mouth open at him. That's one side of him, but the other side was enough is enough. And this looked like Trump. Yeah, it looked like him. Yeah, enough is enough. This is the other side of that charismatic leader, man. So we see both sides right here. Look. Come on. We see both sides. And now, well, that's Revelation 13. How we seen the first term Trump was the lamb. You know, the second term Trump is going to be the one who spake as a dragon. That's what it is. That's what we seeing. Yeah, I read this one right here. It says pbsnews.com. It says Trump's failed strong arming of allies on Iran shows pressure is losing its effect. And that's another thing. America ain't what it once was no more. I'll get this in real quick, but America it's not what it once was. Yep. You know, everybody feared it. If the president or American to say something, the nations will listen. They'll do it. Now they talking back. Iran talking back. Iran holding their own, you know, so far. And today may need Russia and China's help. But who would ever thought America would be talked back to in this day and age? But that's all a part of Bible prophecy because, well, Joel 3, the weak go eventually become strong. They're going to say they strong. Till we go say they strong. America became content in having power since the roughly 1945 after World War II, you know, when it was far ahead of other countries, you know, militarily, economically, you know, eventually had all nations tied to the dollar, the petrodollars. We'll touch on that at the end. That's out the way. So what's next? It's gonna have to be that digital system, man. But the thing is, America once had a hold on the earth, but now all that is dwindling and is over with. I'm gonna read this real quick. Matter of fact, what we was right. I'm gonna read the title. It says Trump's failed strong arming of allies on Iran shows that pressure is losing its effect. We've long had your back. Now it's our turn. This was put out yesterday, March 18th. It says that is how the famously transactional U.S. President Donald Trump is framing his demands that allies help him with the Iran war. He outs to call in IOUs for decades of U.S. security guarantees. It says the string of refusals indicates his stock of European goodwill is low. So how the European nations, the EU, part of the beast, how they looking at him? It ain't good right now. And remember, I think Angela Merkel, she said years ago, she told Trump first term Trump She said, watch how you speak to your allies because they are not many. And this was first term Trump when he was as a lamb, so to speak. You know, now this second term Trump, he telling them what it is. It says he has put allies through the ringer since returning to the White House, bullying them over tariffs, Greenland, and other issues, disparaging the sacrifices their soldiers made alongside the U.S. troops in Afghanistan. It says now he's demanding, not just requesting, that they send warships to help the U.S. unblock the Strait of Hormuz. And I jumped down because you had the UK. The UK said that this ain't our fight, right? That's what it says. Where is it? It says going to war without consulting with allies is keeping with Trump America's first outlook. It says this is what the German defense minister said. It's not our war. We did not start it. We want diplomatic solutions and a swift end to the conflict. Sending more warships to the region will certainly not contribute to that. France said, Emmanuel Macron. It says, France didn't choose this war. We're not taking part. Another one, it says allies, or at least the Europeans, aren't willing to be at the beck and call of a demand from Donald Trump. And that was said by Sylvie Berman, a French former ambassador to China, the UK, and Russia. So that's how they feeling. They don't want to help, you know? And, yep, you got it.
I have to say, like Elder Ariala, where he was talking about Iran. You know, you got to, well, I mean, you can look at it in the same light, all right? Because he was saying, he was asking why was China and Russia just sitting back and letting Iran be, you know, pummeled by the U.S. and Israel. And, you know, you have to ask the question, why is all of the U.S. allies just sitting back, allowing, you know, the U.S., you know, Israel too, to get their asses handed to them. And it's all a geopolitical game, you know. Now we know on a geopolitical scale, Esau is shooting for the elites of the Edomites. They're shooting for a one world order. All right. We know from prophecy that the Heavenly Father is orchestrating all of this, and this to get them to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. All right, this is Joel 3:9, which you had mentioned about the weak saying that they're strong. All right, this is Joel chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. You want to go into it?
Yeah, that's it. You know, and as we mentioned not too long ago, America been you know, stagnant for these past couple of years, you know, being content with being the leader. So they haven't been focused on, you know, as of late, you know, continuing to beefing up their military. You know, they forgot about that. They was too worried about the rainbow flag supporters, so on and so forth. While you had these other nations, as he just read, they say, you know what, we're gonna put this agricultural stuff, the this and that to the side. We're gonna focus on our military. In America, they passing out weapons, trying to help everybody else if they get tied to the dollar. But these other nations, they was focusing on going to war with America, becoming more stronger. And now we get to this point, 2026, and throughout all these years, you know, after World War II, you have America who was really at the same place. Yeah, they, upgraded a little bit, but these other nations really took it there, you know, and surpassed what America expected. Their expectation. Even Trump said, well, we were shocked. We didn't know Iran had it like that, you know? But now the weak, and they see that now, they saying, well, we strong too. We got missiles too. We got stuff better than yours. You know, their game plan is better than yours. They see Trump ain't really like that. So now you see these other nations, whether Iran or Russia, and again, Russia, China, they sitting back right now, you know. But the point is, even with these things going on, and nations eventually seeing Iran is kind of holding their own, come on, man. It's
Yeah,
known that
Iran.
America is not that former superpower. You got it, advertiser power.
Yeah, you good now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Now I was just about to say, it's known that America is not that former superpower just by what we've been seeing, and the leader is weak, and the people know that, you know.
Yeah, he's a paper tiger, and Iran is
Mhm.
pressure, and they putting that pressure on them, on the U.S. and Israel, you know, and Israel carrying out attack strikes and attacks in Lebanon and all of that. You know, well, it doesn't make sense. You know, your immediate threat is Iran, but I guess you know they figure that you know they're linked somehow. But anyway, a few more scriptures reading on verse 11. It says, "Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat." All right. And you read it as Jehoshaphat. All right. In the Paleo Hebrew, is Yahweh Shaphat. And Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Shaphat, it means judgment. All right. It says, "For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about." You know, and that's the point. You got it, I.
I get this real quick, and we can play this video of Scott Ritter, and we can begin to wind it down because even as you said, you know, though we seeing them going to war, is also behind the scenes. What you know some may not see is that this war is still leading to the establishing of the digital system, you know, and mainly here in America, you know, and you know more, you know, about it than I do, but especially with America being tied, the petrodollar being tied to oil, right?
And that's
With
what
this
it's all
move,
about. Yeah,
mm-hmm,
that's it. That's what it's all about, to bring in this digital system. And they want it in place by 2030, you know, which I did a video today. This lady, she was talking about they're using this war to bring about the conditions for the UN agenda 2030. You know, there's so much going on, shit. You forget about all these agendas and shit. But right, agenda 2030. That's what this war is about. Agenda
mm-hmm.
2030, which comes with your own personal microchip. So that's what this is all about. And then there's talks of, you know, shutdowns, grid shutdowns and blackouts and all of this, which well, I put it this way, also talks of civil war here in America. You know, and America is due. So and I mean you got to look at, as I was speaking about, right, why is the US allies sitting back? Right. I'm going back to the point Elder Ariala made, because they're all told to sit back, all right, to allow for the destruction of this current or the passing economic system.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Iran is the last peg left on the board, the last um, bishop, whatever, queen, king, whatever. They the last man on the board. All right. If you go by Wesley Clark and what he said years ago, decades ago, that the U.S. was slated to take out 7 countries in the Middle East, and they've done it, all except for Iran. All right. And so now it's come down to that. And, you know, in doing this, then they're both, because America hadn't been struck physically, but America is being struck financially and politically. Um, Donald Trump's political career is done, you know, and going back to what we said, he already damn near 100 anyway. But the history books won't favor him, you know, when it's all said and done. And he was still walking around with all this pride trying to save face and still put on that front as if he's got everything under control. He obviously doesn't. Well, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. Because they're all taking orders. They're all taking orders. You know, and what's being done right now, although America is not being hit, the economy is being hit. The petrodollar is being hit. All right. But in the meantime, Iran is raining oil. Streets is full of oil. This shit is on fire. Half of it. A lot of it. All right. They being hit, but they have the capacity to still continue this war. But Iran is fucked up right now. It's blacked out from smoke and oil, and I'm sure they probably don't have, you know, utility, electricity, and all that. And well, although America had not been hit yet, that's what's coming. Attacks on the grid, attacks on power, you know, on our utility stations, water pumping stations, all of this. That's the first thing you take out. But my point is what I'm pointing out, all right, in this exchange between the U.S. and Iran is going to have to get, because, well, matter of fact, no, they already on board. I was going to say they have to get on board with the digital money, but they already calling for a digital yuan, because they said that you played the video, right? Or we didn't play that one yet, about this past Saturday. Iran saying any ships want to come through the strait, you can come, but you got to buy your oil in yuan. All right, but it's digital yuan. So we already going to the digital system. I believe they're asking for digital yuan. And so the petrodollar is effectively being destroyed. So yeah, look for the shit to come to America. That's the only thing left. Look for the shit to come to America. You know, Israel already getting it. Israel is pummeled. That shit look like, you know, total devastation. And Iran is total devastation all throughout the Middle East. Yeah, it's America's time to be touched. But that's what's going on in the midst of it, all right? A new system is coming about. They going forward with this Agenda 2030, the UN. I keep leaving that out. The UN Agenda 2030, all right? They on par. All right, they on par. And Trump, whether they putting him through the humiliation ritual or he's actually in, you know, mental decline, everything is on schedule. So Esau eat him, but we know what Job said when he is about to fill his belly. That's why I said that, because it's going to look good for him up to a point. And we ain't talking about the low level. Trump is low level. We talking up at the top. So yeah, brother, go ahead. I just wanted
I just looked this up while you was talking. I just put select.
I'm sorry. Go ahead and say that again.
Now, while you was talking, I have typed this in Iran digital currency, and there's a AI overview. It says Iran is actively leveraging a roughly $8 to $11 billion cryptocurrency ecosystem. It says the central bank digital currency CBDC. The central bank of Iran has been developing a crypto real or a Rams real to improve international trade efficiency, and reduce reliance on the US dollar. So, but that just to back you up, they into it just because they got, they in the ancient, land, so to speak, they got history from the past, and they wear the hair wraps, and they ain't got Jordans and everything out there like Nikes and shit like that. But the point is, they going digital too. Everybody got to do it. Revelation 3 say the whole world gonna have to be tested with our temptation. Revelation 13 say all gonna be caused. It ain't just say but Iran, but Persia, but Elam. No, they got to be in it too. But this is also used as war is being used to bring the American system, and really been started. The kickoff was when Trump got back in office with Elon Musk and Doge and those tech giants. That was the start of them really kind of building that foundation of the digital system here in America. Now, this is more ways with this war, more ways to continue to bring that about and get rid of that old system. Because again, the old system is built off what the petrodollar. Everybody all tied to it now. As we go play here in a few, Iran go give certain guidelines that if you want this to open up, look, you got to do this. And is that the all that passed through here got it, like the other Tazapa said, got to be traded with the yuan, the petro yuan, which is going digital. It's and we're gonna get an article here in a few. We're gonna play this video, but it says at the end of this article, it says, and this was put out a year ago. Check this out. This article was put out a year ago, saying from petrodollar to the digital yuan. It was put out a year ago, and they were saying if the yuan, if something drastic happened like a war or some geopolitical conflict, the first thing America got to do, I just got to read it. It says the first step is to accelerate innovation in cross-border finance by supporting development of central bank digital currencies. We're going to come back to that. So if they said if the yuan, this was a year ago article, if the yuan gets strength, something drastic happened, the first thing America got to do is CBDC. Come on, man. But let's go ahead and play this quick. You about to say something, Salaki?
No, it makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. But you good.
We'll play this quick video from Scott Ritter. It says the U.S. is abandoning all our Asian and Middle Eastern allies.
So we're betraying our South Korean allies. We're betraying our Japanese allies. We're betraying our Taiwanese allies because we've convinced Taiwan that we have a ballistic missile shield to protect them from everything. And we're betraying our Gulf Arab allies, all for Israel.
This is from antiwar.com. It says the U.S. is moving parts of its THAAD missile defense system from South Korea.
THAAD in South Korea against the South Koreans' desires.
System from South Korea to the Middle East. It says that the subheadline is South Korea's president said he was against the move, but could not fully oppose it. So can you tell me what that is about and what is the ramifications of that?
Sure. Well, the THAAD is our upper tier anti-missile system for tactical defense. We put the THAAD in South Korea against the South Koreans' desires a couple years ago because it's destabilizing. The Chinese said, please don't do it because if you do it, we're going to have to reposition our missiles because we can't allow you to have an anti-ballistic missile capability that close to.
I'm going to just read this precept first and I'm going to replay this video because this is what we seeing happen is Bible prophecy playing out. This Obadiah 1 and verse 1 in the NLT. It says, we have heard a message from the Lord that an ambassador was sent to the nations to say, get ready, everyone, let's assemble our armies and attack Edom. I'm going to jump down. Verse 6, every nook and cranny of Edom will be searched and looted. Every treasure will be found and taken. Here it is. Verse 7, and all your allies will turn against you. One more time. And all your allies will turn against you. We seeing that happening. This is reasons why the beast gonna hate the whore. It says all your allies.
Go ahead.
It says all your allies will turn against you. Obadiah 1 and 7 in the NLT. It says they will help to chase you from your land. They will promise you peace while plotting to deceive and destroy you. Your trusted friends will set traps for you and you won't even know about it. Come on, man. We seeing that literally play out in live time. And what we see in the media, nations might tell Trump and them, yeah, we're on your side. Yeah, we gonna come help. Yeah, we gonna do this. The scripture says they're gonna be plotting behind your back, setting you up. So we seeing, and we're gonna continue to see reasons through pride, through war, through deception, through hard times in the economy, while American allies go on to turn against them, lying and breaking treaties and promises. It says, and at that time, not a single wise person will be left in the whole land of Edom. You got advertiser, Pa? It's like it.
Yeah, it's just saying it's a potential right now for the digital yuan. It says the use, and this is the AI overview. Okay, it says under Iran sell all for digital yuan. It has a bulletin point, right? The digital yuan potential. It says the use of digital yuan, and in parentheses, it's got E dash capital CNY. It says for oil payments fit into the long-term 25-year cooperation plan, which aims to boost Chinese investment in Iranian energy infrastructure. So this also in AI overview. And it says, yes, Iran sells a significant portion of its oil to China, often using the Chinese yuan. It says, and increasingly exploring digital yuan to settle payments. This allows both nations to bypass US-led financial sanctions and reduce reliance on the US dollar, with China buying nearly 90% of Iran's exported oil. But that ain't the money. But that's basically it. Let's see here. Yeah, that's it.
And I'm just looking at this title too, and what he gonna say? It says the U.S. is abandoning all our Asian and Middle Eastern allies, but not just them. And this is just to show when the scripture saying Obadiah, the world was going to despise Esau. He going into the Asian and Middle Eastern allies, but remember, you got the European, the NATO, EU, Canada, all these everybody go. What he doing in Central and South America? We seeing the reason why the Lord gonna have it in a story that the world gonna shoot missiles at this place, man.
A couple years ago, because it's destabilizing. The Chinese said, please don't do it, because if you do it, we're gonna have to reposition our missiles because we can't allow you to have an anti-ballistic missile capability that close to China. But we put it in there. So it's been a horribly destabilizing weapon that we then use to strong arm the South Koreans and the Japanese into taking a harder line against North Korea and all this. So a lot of politics attached to this weapon. But all of our THAAD radars have been blown up by the Iranians in the Middle East. We don't have any left. And so we have a bunch of THAAD launchers out there. We have some THAAD missiles left, but we can't use them because we don't have any radars. And so we have gone into South Korea now, and that THAAD system we made them take that they didn't want to take, we're now taking away. And they're like, wait a minute, we changed everything about our defense posture, hinged on the fact that THAAD was here, part of our missile defense shield and all this stuff. And now you're taking it away without even telling us. And we're also taking away the advanced Patriot PAC-3s. And we're taking them for Israel. And the Gulf Arab states are sitting there going, hey, we're over here too. We're the ones who, stood by you all the way. We bought $2 billion worth of your stuff, and we've run through it all. So the stuff you're taking out of South Korea, you're going to bring to us, right? We get those missiles? Nope, straight to Israel. So we're betraying our South Korean allies. We're betraying our Japanese allies. We're betraying our Taiwanese allies because we've convinced Taiwan that we have a ballistic missile shield to protect them for everything. And we're betraying our Gulf Arab allies, all for Israel. And Israel, of course, had a whole bunch of these missiles, fired them, didn't shoot anything down. We're giving them missiles now that don't work against the missiles the Iranians have. This just shows how dysfunctional we are. It comes down to, again, why I have spent a lifetime saying that there's no such thing as missile defense. It's a joke. It's a giant grift. It's a scam. We spend billions of dollars on these things only to find out that they just don't work in the face of a modern ballistic missile threat. The Iranians have shown that THAAD doesn't work, PAC-3 doesn't work, Aegis doesn't work. The Russians will show that anything we build doesn't work. Same thing with the Chinese and the North Koreans. But this is an act of betrayal. This system, again, the South Koreans built a defense concept around this system, and now we've taken it away from the South Koreans without even asking their permission. We're just doing it.
And so what is the danger to South Korea? Is there really a threat from North Korea? Oh, was that why they had those missile defenses in the first place? Or what do you think is the downside?
Well, the United States and the South Koreans used to run an exercise every year. We still do it. But the way the exercise kicked off, or maybe even ended, was that we'd get all of our aircraft and the South Korean aircraft, and we'd fly straight to the North Korean border. Pyongyang just right over the border. That's where the leadership is. And we come screaming in. And at the last second, we break off. Now, from the North Korean perspective, if we go across the border, we're going to be over Pyongyang dropping bombs in a matter of minutes, 5 minutes. And so we're juking them. We're scaring them, putting them on notice that we can decapitate you at a moment's notice. So the North Koreans went, well, why don't we build nuclear armed ballistic missiles and tell the South Koreans that we're going to nuke you if you do this? So they did that. And so now the North Koreans have missiles. Now, they didn't build them to threaten the South. They built them to deter this irresponsible behavior on the part of South Korea and the United States. Now they have that, and the South Koreans are freaking out. Wait a minute, they got missiles. So we bring in THAAD to tell the South Koreans, we will defend you from the North Korean missiles that were built because you and I were playing stupid games, sending aircraft surging to the borders. That's what's going on here. North Korea is not a threat to anybody. North Korea wants to live in peace. The proof is the Russians again. I know I'm going to be accused of being Vladimir Putin's little bitch, but the Russians are the ones that opened up tourism in North Korea. The Russians are the ones that have, they go to North Korea and they ski down on this modern ski lift. They have modern hotels. North Korea can function properly if we just give them a chance. We're the ones that have isolated them. They used to show a map. The CIA used to brag about this, the satellite, and because
that was pretty much it. He's just going into points of why America losing allies, why people feel the way they feel about the U.S. And it's not getting better, it's just getting worse. Remember, say Esau got a short time, so it ain't like they go say sorry. It's just gonna keep going.
Mm-hmm. So they got an egomaniac in office.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was it.
Oh, even to back you up on the types of pockets, I see it right here to the right. It says, how you were saying eventually America you got it.
Go ahead. You good.
Now you were saying how eventually America go get touched. It says drones have been detected over the military bases where Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth, where they living right now, because they can't stay, at their house because people go come against them. How people feeling, so they got to stay at military bases, but they scared now because drones and stuff flying over.
That's good. Yeah, That's good. Yeah, I was gonna say I had forgot that we spoke on that last week with the THAAD and them going, taking it from South Korea, and so great millstone on the cutting edge of prophecy. Right, prophecy running the world. But yeah, I didn't have nothing.
Yeah, I got I'll play a little bit more.
As people remember Pearl Harbor. How do we feel about the
that's it. We could play this one. So again, this war, American allies not helping. It's gonna lead to many things, but one of the key things it's gonna lead to is that petrodollar losing strength, which gonna bring about even more that digital currency for all nations. That digital dollar for all nations. We'll go ahead and play a little bit of this from Professor Yang, and this was put out 17 hours ago. Now, I'll say this too, and man, every time I was talking about this before the lesson, this video right here is AI, but this is a real person. It's a real person, it's a real man. He got other videos on his page, and I've been seeing a lot of news reporters or creators do this. So some videos, they'll give you like them real cells on video breaking it down, but then some, I guess, to save time, they'll just have an AI version speaking.
Right.
So we know this AI, but this is a real man's page. You see what I'm saying? A real man's page, so on and so forth. But we'll go ahead and play it because what he going into, it says the petro yuan is rising. It's Iran triggering the end of dollar dominance. Right? He will go into how any other country before who tried to step away from the dollar, America always went to war and destroyed them, so on and so forth. We'll go ahead and play this video, and then we got an article. We'll end it on this one, which was put out a year ago, January 15, 2025. It says petrodollar to digital yuan. It goes into if anything drastic could happen, and the digital yuan may gain strength, or things may, might not be, for like a better word, be good for the petrodollar. The first thing America got to do to keep up and keep that thing going, the petrodollar going, is to go digital. We'll get to it though, to go digital. But let's play this.
Just 2 weeks into this conflict, Iran made its boldest move yet. Not with missiles, drones, or any kind of traditional weapon, but with a single statement. On Saturday morning, a senior Iranian official told CNN that oil shipments through the Strait of Hormuz would only be allowed if paid in Chinese yuan instead of US dollars. 4 words, paid in yuan, carry more weight than anything seen on a battlefield in the last 14 days. Surprised. Because what Iran proposed isn't military, it's an attack on the very system that has kept the United States at the center of the global economy for half a century. Today, we're going to unpack what this statement really means, why it's more significant than any explosion broadcast on TV, and the consequences if this idea takes hold globally. Thoughtful, hearing the term petrodollar might make most people's eyes glaze over. It sounds abstract, academic, or like something that only happens behind boardroom doors. But the petrodollar system is the reason the US can project military power anywhere in the world. It's why the country can run massive deficits that would bankrupt almost any other nation. Despite spending trillions on wars, debt, and everything in between, the dollar remains the currency every country needs. Threaten that system or even weaken it, and the financial foundation of American global influence starts to crumble. That's exactly what Iran just did. They threw a stone at that foundation. To understand why this matters, we need to go back to 1971. Before then, the US dollar was tied to gold, with each dollar in circulation backed by actual gold in American vaults. Other nations trusted it because, in theory, they could exchange dollars for gold. Then President Richard Nixon ended that system, and suddenly the dollar faced a new question. Why should anyone trust it? The answer came from the Middle East. In 1974, the US struck a deal with Saudi Arabia. The kingdom would price all its oil in dollars, and in return, America would provide military protection. OPEC followed suit, country by country, shifting the global oil trade to dollars. This created something extraordinary. Every country that needed oil, which was every country, needed dollars. Japan needed dollars. China needed dollars. India, Germany, Brazil, every major economy required them. That constant demand allowed the US to borrow and spend endlessly while maintaining a global military reach no other nation could match. The petrodollar isn't just an economic arrangement, it's the backbone of American global power. And for over 5 decades, any attempt to challenge it has been crushed. But Iran is now trying something no one else has dared to do in recent memory. Back in 2000, Saddam Hussein shocked the world when he announced that Iraq would start selling its oil in euros instead of US dollars. Just 3 years later, the United States invaded Iraq, and after the conflict, Iraq's oil sales were quickly returned to the dollar. A similar story unfolded in Libya. Muammar Gaddafi had proposed creating a pan-African currency backed by gold, designed to trade oil outside the dollar system. In 2011, NATO intervened militarily in Libya. Gaddafi was killed, and his ambitious currency project died with him. Venezuela presents another case. President Nicolas Maduro strengthened his country's economic ties with China and actively promoted oil trade beyond the US dollar. In January 2026, the Trump administration moved decisively against him. Analysts note a clear pattern here, which they call the petrodollar war theory, the idea that nations attempting to challenge the dollar's dominance in oil markets often face severe consequences, sometimes far beyond ordinary sanctions or diplomatic pressure. Now, Iran, a country that has been under relentless U.S. military attacks for the past 2 weeks, has just issued a statement that could shake the entire global financial system. Iran says it will allow the passage of oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz, but only if their cargoes are paid in Chinese yuan rather than US dollars. This is no small detail. Read it carefully. Iran is not merely reopening the strait. They are reopening it on new financial terms, terms that deliberately exclude the dollar, that favor China, and that could set a historic precedent in the 52-year history of the petrodollar system.
If I may add real quick too, it ain't just that it's gonna be the the petrodollar die, and then now the global currency is the yuan, or as they call it, the petro yuan. And now China running things. This is not gonna happen. According to prophecy, never said nothing about the yuan. He calls of all to spend in the yuan. Eventually, even if or however it happened, if it collapsed fully, as far as the petrodollar or partially, however it happened, it's not gonna go to. And even if the yuan get popular, or nations, BRICS want to go that way, right? The thing is, this system still is gonna be led to nations. Yes, they may use the digital yuan. Yeah, they may use it. They may use it, but it's gonna cause these nations to have their own CBDC, which ultimately gonna lead to the MOTB. That's the point of this. It ain't just go from the petrodollar to the yuan. No, it's gonna go from the petrodollar to eventually the MOTB. That's the point of it. The dollar had its time in the earth. The Lord allowed America to get their power in the earth using the dollar, connected to oil, and to have that dominance over the nations. But we understand that's over with now. Now Esau sin is over with. It's for his last ditch effort, which is the MOTB system, man. So he got to break down this old one. That goes into the legitimate government in 2nd Ezra 15. They forgetting about the legitimate government for a race to see who gonna lead this new world, man. So it ain't about the yuan. It's about the petrodollar, whether it come fully to its end or partially, but they going digital. The system ain't what it once was, and it's not gonna continue. So I just had to kind of,
Right. Yeah.
I'll play just a little more, maybe a minute or so, and then we can hit the article and we can end it, Zaquan.
Done.
The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Navy has already started issuing IRGC certificates, effectively.
All right, so we can hit it right now. Is this from the AsianSociety.org, right? Now, again, this was a year ago. And this video from him was put out 17 hours ago. Iran gave their demands. Now, this was a year ago. It says the petrodollar to the digital yuan. Again, it's not about the yuan. It's about nations going digital. It says China, the Gulf, and the 21st century path to de-dollarization. January 15, 2025. Now, I'm going to read a little bit of this one right here. It says a quiet revolution is reshaping the foundations of global finance. The petrodollar system, which has underpinned the international oil trade and the U.S. financial power for half a century, faces unprecedented challenges. While headlines focus on geopolitical tensions between the U.S. and China and the increase of U.S. sanctions following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, a fundamental transformation is unfolding through technological innovation, shifting trade patterns, and the Gulf states' ambitious economic reinvention. Right? It says, right. Let me jump down. Now here it is. Just to show the way America gonna have to go. And this all could be set up. That look, let's crash. We gotta crash the petrodollar first before we can do this. They all may be on the phone together, with Jacob Rothschild. You're talking about it.
Yeah.
You see, we gotta, so Russia, you stay back, China, y'all, just, act like y'all gathering nations, and y'all could be the next ones to rule. This is how we gonna do it, all right? And Trump on the phone too. So all right, well, I'll be the asshole. forgive me for my language, but just just said the dollar gotta go, but it says right here, where is that? The path forward. So going forward. Now, this whole article is a good read, and she got a video in here speaking about it. But the path forward, it says the path forward, looking ahead 5 years. Now, this was last year put out. 3 scenarios can happen. Right now, we know the plan. Elder Taza Pop is saying it in his lesson. The plan is for them to fully have this established, the digital system, in 2030, like 2029, and then 2030. Like in 2030, it's done. Like everybody C-hips, the Palantir said, America fully digital, all nations fully digital, including Iran, everybody digital. They want to have that set and done 100% in 2030. Like December 31st, 2030, 2029. The thing is, if they want to have that set by then, guess when they got to start? Now.
Yeah, they need it going right now.
Now. Come on. So it says the path forward. Now, Salakia.
Right quick on the AI overview. It says, as of March 2026, Iran is reportedly mandating that all tankers passing through the Strait of Hormuz sell their cargo in Chinese yuan rather than US dollars to bypass Western sanctions. This is the part right here. Iran is negotiating with 8 countries to permit passage under this condition with China. So it's already 8 countries on board, and they already working out, the details. Because, you just can't say, oh, I want you on, and then it's going to happen. You got to work out stuff. So just to go to what you're saying, you can't do it overnight. You see what I'm saying? So, right, they had to get started like yesterday, pursuant to Revelation 12 and 12. He know that he got a short time, and so they moving. And it's going to be some, what appears to be irrational decisions made, but it's just due to their lack of time. Some of it, some of it. But go ahead,
so like I'm trying to type this in on chat real quick just to see oil through Strait of Hormuz. See if it may have some. Shoo. Okay. Wow. So this the path forward. Now this article was put out in 2025, last year. The path forward, if they want to be done by 2030, it says looking ahead 5 years. Here's 3 scenarios. And on what's the scenario? The dollar not being a petrodollar as it once was, nations moving from that and going digital. This is the path forward. Check this out. It says, number 1, to manage, it says managed evolution, most likely. And the thing is, when we read the next 2, that's the most likely ones. From what we said, it says managed evolution, most likely. Gradual expansion of yuan settlement and investment while maintaining core petrodollar architecture, which that's what we're seeing now. The yuan is, by talks expanding, and this may happen as well. But check out these second 2 going forward. It says number 2, external shock, and really all these things happening. It says external shock. Second, most likely, sudden changes forced by geopolitical conflict, something like closing the Strait of Hormuz. It says major political upheaval in key countries, technological breakthroughs, CBDCs, MOTBs, digital IDs. It says, or market disruption, economy, oil going up, gas going up, grain, they can't plant seeds, food probably could go up from this. It says, depending on the nature of the shock, this scenario could lead to either a dramatic decline of the petrodollar system or it's reinforced, and the Strait of Hormuz closing, and Iran saying if all you want to pass through here, got to be by another means other than a petrodollar. This could be an example of that. So like you about to say something? Forgive me.
No, you good, bro.
Kind says this scenario could lead to either a dramatic decline of the petrodollar system or its reinforcement as nations seek the safety of established dollar markets and the U.S. security umbrella. And we know that one ain't gonna happen. America ain't gonna reinforce the dollar. One, prophecy say everybody got to go digital, and two, nobody effing with America no more. So that one ain't gonna happen. But we see everybody stepping away from the dollar. Now check this out. Number 3 says a rapid shift. This can happen quick. It says, but that's least likely. It says a decisive strategic pivot by Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states toward deeper integration with Chinese systems. Now, I just typed in on ChatGPT because if this holds, because I would say Iran be pump faking a lot. Like, how many leaders gonna just die? But we know the Lord have it like this. It's the Lord movie. It's the Lord story, right? But let's hope this Strait of Hormuz continue to stay closed. Let's hope Iran don't move. Like, stand on all 10, and keep it that way. And don't allow nothing to pass dealing with the petrodollar. Say if they really do that. If they really stand on that, that's when it can have a dramatic, a huge effect. But Iran to say something, and 2 weeks later they'll tell America, let's talk. But let's hope they still in that mindset. But I typed this in because it says a rapid shift. And remember, Esau ain't got a long time. A decisive strategic pivot by Saudi Arabia and other Gulf states toward deeper integration with China's systems. I just typed in how much of Saudi Arabia's oil go through the Strait of Hormuz. It says a large portion of Saudi Arabia's oil exports pass through the Strait of Hormuz. It says, but not all. Roughly 60 to 70% of Saudi Arabia's oil exports go through the Strait of Hormuz. This could be, again, let's hope they continue. This could be one of the reasons. Now, it says it was going into all that. Now, it's going to go into some things that America need to do, and we can end it after this other types of power. America need to do in order to combat the fall of the petrodollar. Check out these things. And we're going to read this first one. It says the strategic implications for the U.S. For the United States, maintaining international financial leadership requires strategic adaptation. So they got to adapt to what's the world around them. It says modernizing dollar-based global infrastructure, strengthening Gulf partnerships, and developing framework for managing parallel payment systems. Success lies in preserving fundamental advantages while competing effectively with emerging alternatives. It says China's strategy focuses on creating viable alternatives for specific functions rather than attempting to fully replace the dollar's international role. The Gulf states must balance their need to rapidly transform their fossil fuel-based economy against security considerations. Now, here it is. The report recommends several critical priorities for the U.S. Critical means expressing adverse. It says, this is the one, of a situation or problem having the potential to become disastrous at a point of crisis. So this is something serious that America needs to focus on. It says the report recommends several critical priorities for U.S. policymakers. This is the first one. Check this out, and this is where we going, man. This is where the system going. It says, first, to accelerate innovation in cross-border finance by supporting development of central bank digital currencies while maintaining the advantages of the existing base dollar systems. They got to go to the CBDC. They got to go digital. in order to keep up, America got to go digital. They got, and not just that they got to keep up. Yeah, they got to keep up because Second Edge 15 said they're gonna fight to see who's gonna rule a new world. You know, but everybody around them going digital, but prophecy say so. They have to do it. You got it, advertiser, Paul?
No, I ain't had nothing. I just was saying, yep.
Kind. And I finish it out. It says second. So the second thing, first thing they got to do is go to a CBDC. Second, to strengthen strategic partnership with Gulf states by supporting their economic transformation initiatives and facilitating U.S. technology companies' participation in their mega projects. America might eventually agree with the digital system as far as oil, and Americans gonna be shocked that it's separated from the petrodollar. Who knows how it could play out? But America might agree to this new way of doing things, not because it's, because prophecy say so. It got to go digital. It says third, lead efforts to reform international financial institutions, and it says, and finally, modernize market infrastructure to the U.S. markets that remain the world's deepest and most reliable. But so that's the path forward. The first thing America got to do, if this really go down the way it's looking like, and we hoping, they have to go to a CBDC. You have to go digital, and there's no way around it.
Yep.
But that was it on that, advertiser Paul.
Yes, Con. I ain't had nothing, brother.
Con, that's it. Well, and we'll right there we'll end it. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. With that, we want to give all praises, honor and glory once again unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and as well as the men that taught them. And peace and blessings to all you out there who pushing this word, and as well as all you out there who believe on the gospel. And keep fighting, keep pushing. And with that, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. Hey, the water for tuning in, the water I can for the precept. Shalom.